Hey guys, we have an awesome show for you today at the Hey Matt show.
Yeah, we're going to be reviewing cars.
Matthew's over there. You'll see why in a second, but we just wanted to do this intro first, so let's do it.
I have no idea what to play, but Hayden wanted me to play something.
Just play it.
So, Hayden decided it would be a good idea for me to talk a little bit about my car for this because I can talk for hours about it. So, what I thought it might be cool is we could maybe do a comparison between his car and mine in terms of old cars and new cars. So, this is a 66 Impala SS 327 Power Glide 10 volt. That means nothing to most of y'all, but one of the things that's really different that you'll notice between newer cars and older cars is the amount of metal. So if you look, it has solid steel bumpers, chrome, the works. Whereas if you take a look at Hayden's, well actually we'll use Sabrina's car as an example, has plastic bumpers. Now these are better at absorbing shocks in crashes on most modern accidents that are at higher speeds, whereas these are better for lower speed crashes because they just, you know, your car is completely fine. It's like a battering ram. But you'll notice the big improvement in pedestrian safety because if you look at how flat the front end of this car is, and yeah, you get hit with this thing, your knees are just gone because it's like a spear. But these cars, one of the things that make these much nicer in terms of the driving experience is just how little electronic interference there is because there's no computers, no driver aids, none of that. And so it's really a much better experience driving wise. But in terms of safety, yeah, there's nothing here to keep you from driving like an idiot and killing yourself. Whereas modern cars, you have traction control, stability control, ABS, all that stuff. And, you know, so you really do have to make sure you don't, like, go too fast around a corner or something in this car. There's nothing there to keep you from doing that. But I love it. It's a very rewarding experience. It's something different. This looks completely different from anything else on the road. And it's just a lot of fun. You know. So, Hayden wanted me to talk a little bit about the engine. This is a 327 cubic inch V8. It makes about, it's rated at 275 horsepower, but it makes about 300 roughly. See, in the 60s, and even now, car companies sometimes do it, where they rate horsepower lower than what it actually is so that when you go to get insurance, you don't have to pay as much money. But this one's probably making about 275 now just because it's 50 years old. It burns some oil because it's lost some compression. And, you know, I'll have to work on it eventually, but it runs great. This car is actually quite reliable, believe it or not. I haven't had any major issues out of it. It has minor things, you know. The taillights can be a bit of a lottery because somebody's replaced them with really cheap Chinese bulb sockets that are not original. I have to fix that. You know, it's got little issues. The windows, the door stuff needs to be replaced, but all the major components, the engine, the transmission, the brakes, all that stuff works just fine. Although one thing to point out with the brakes, 50 years ago they did not have the technology that they do now. Now they have disc brakes, and while disc brakes have been invented, they weren't nearly as good as they are now, and this car features an older style drum brakes, which are not really what you want for the best stopping power. But they do work, and the nice thing about cars like this, you notice how much space you have under here to work on it. You can upgrade this and put just about any part you want, anything you can think of they make it for this car. You could put a modern engine in here with fuel injection and everything. I could put the engine out of that truck right there in this car. It would fit. They make kits for it. They make kits for everything. And that's probably one of the most enjoyable things about an older car, is you can make them just about anything you want them to be. Especially when it comes to, you know, muscle cars like this. For some reason, the aftermarket is just so huge for these cars, and especially Chevrolet in general. I'm not a particular brand loyalist. I like all American makes, but I went with a Chevy just because this engine right here, you can find parts in any auto parts store anywhere. This is like the most common engine swapped engine on the planet. Any of these, 350, 327, 283, all of them, the parts are just everywhere. I mean, they made them from 1955 to, I believe, 1998 was a production run of these motors, and they're great. They last forever, they work well, and they provide really good power. Now, one thing a modern car definitely has on this is fuel economy. This car gets 8 miles to the gallon on a really good day. Now, you know, if you buy a car like this for fuel mileage, there's something wrong with you. But in saying that, there are many things that can be done to improve it, because for one thing, the transmission in this car is a 2-speed. So you have low gear and high gear, that's it. And one of the reasons why most modern cars get really good fuel mileage has to do with the fact that they have 3 or 4 gears in the transmission. Okay, so here we are in the interior. And one of the things that most older cars have, a lot of newer cars you see they have either cloth or leather interior. This has vinyl, which is kind of gone out of style, but back in the 60s, man, this was it. This car has one of the rare factory options because of the SS, which is a performance model. This has this floor console, which is actually pretty rare. I'm told they're like $500 if you can find one usually, so that's kind of nice. But all of the older Impalas have metal dashboards, which again is a safety thing that's just, you know, basically if you're in a crash in this thing, they hose it off and sell it to somebody else. No, they don't actually do this. But anyway, another thing is, because some of these cars had manual steering, this one luckily has power steering. The steering wheels in these things are huge. This is, I believe, 16.5 inches. And the irony is the wheels of the actual car are 15s. So the steering wheel is actually bigger in diameter than the wheels on the car. That's something you don't see now. Now cars have like 19 or 20 inch rims on some of the performance cars. But, you know, and they have crank windows. And one of the best things this car has is it has these little quarter glass windows. And this car does not have air conditioning. And most people here are probably going, oh, I would die. It's not actually that bad, because you have little vents you can open underneath the dashboard, and you have these quarter glass windows which you can open up, and as long as you're moving down the road, you're fine. You also have floor vents down here in the inner fenders, and so basically you can have wind blowing from all sides. And because this is a pillarless coupe design, this entire section of glass rolls all the way down. It is fantastic. You can get so much wind through this car. It is great. And the thing is, even though it doesn't have AC, like I said, parts are everywhere. You can put AC on this car, which I plan to eventually. And so basically you can have, it's almost like being in a convertible. It is fantastic. And the driving experience in these things is just so good. I mean, it is unparalleled to anything that most cars have now. You can actually feel the road through the steering wheel. You can feel the brakes. It's not as disconnected as most modern cars are. Now, again, on the whole no safety thing, you just have lap belts. So there is no shoulder belts and there are no headrests. So this is not a car you really want to get in a crash in. For a lot of just tons of, and the steering column doesn't collapse. There's just so many reasons why this thing is a death trap safety-wise. But it is safer in the sense that people notice you more, and so they kind of move out of your way. It's loud, it's big, and you definitely, people pay more attention to you, so you do have a lot more safety from that respect. Another thing to note that's just kind of interesting, the speedometer in this car is horizontal, which is just kind of cool, something different you don't see now. But I suppose that's about it. Oh, the headlight dimmer switch is on the floor rather than on the column. That's something else that most people think is kind of weird. So when you're going, you know, when you're trying to dim your headlights, you hit a switch on the floor as compared to up there. But something else I would like to point out you can get as a luxury, and it's an add-on. This didn't come with this because they didn't have this in the 60s. But even though this radio looks old, this has Bluetooth and all of the modern features that you would find in most modern radios. So that's pretty cool. Ready? Yep. So, for the outro for this video, Hayden came up with a brilliant idea of me climbing in the trunk, and since he's done it before for another thing that he wanted to do, it's been his idea. Yeah, as he's not, this was his idea. So, a little nod. Southwest Cowboys, now you get to watch me die. See, this is when you know you have a real trunk, because you could fit about 6 people in here. A family of 4 could live comfortably. So anyway, later.
Hi, my name's... Fuck! Cut this, cut! You're filming, aren't you? You son of a gun.
I zoomed out of your hood ornament. Okay. Yeah, you're good.
Well, so anyways, like I was saying, come on, what are you doing? Stop being stupid. Anyways, follow me. Right here is the front of my car. This is a little dirty, so kind of just like edit that in post, okay? So it's a silver 2005 Equinox. I don't know what that is. Jesus or something. And it's pretty standard. Here, let's walk around. Yeah, you lead because my leg's hurting. So as you see, it has tires and a mirror. Door. Yeah, that's about it. Let's cut to the engine. Are we rolling?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So now we're gonna take a look at this bad boy. What's under the hood? So I'm gonna go and pop it. Check this out. Matthew, why isn't it? It's supposed to come up. What's happening? I warmed it up for you. We'll just cut it into this so it'll look like...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's a real fire breather.
He's just gonna kill. So as you can see in here, I'm not gonna touch it because it's all dirty. But as you can see,
Because you don't clean your engine. You need to clean your engine.
Shut up. Okay, this is mine. So there's an engine. I think that's the battery. I have no idea which one's the battery. Some cool. That's the battery. Are you sure?
Yes, that's the air
No,
filter.
this is the battery way.
This is. Wait.
No, I think this is the
No,
battery.
wait.
I swear to God.
It might. No, it is actually. I'm sorry. I'm looking through a camera lens.
Yeah.
So
It
never
says
mind.
battery, but
That's your fuse block. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we got some water.
That's windshield washer fluid.
Leaves. Yep. Okay. There it is.
Yep. You're good. You're on.
Oh, hey! I didn't see you there. Welcome to my neck of the woods. So as you can see, As you can see, this is the interior of my car. It's dusty. It's got a leather handle, wood radio thing. It's got a stick. What's really nice though is that the seats are like soft. I don't know what kind of material that is, but it's got a thing that opens. Horn. I didn't know that it could work without it being on. I didn't know that.
It does, as long as your battery's hooked up.
Oof.
That's why I cut power.
What's really cool about this thing is the speedometer right here is circular, just like most cars. But you know what's really good? The radio here has an aux that you can hook up, but it doesn't work. So.
But it does come from the factory. It does have
cruise control.
It comes from the factory with these amazing grabby things. I've never seen them on any other car. They're designed to like. What do you use those for, Hayden? You use them to. They're a camera stand, right?
No, they're for cups.
They're for cups?
Put a cup there.
Who uses cups anymore? It's 2018.
You're right. Everything's bottled. Well, anyways, go check us out at lariat.com or whatever it is that I've made. And gosh darn it, not this. Okay, he's gonna do something. Hold on. But yeah, go ahead, buy one of these attraction books.
Because you know the sale was a couple months ago.
It's over?
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. I only sold 2.
We sold like 5.
Me and my mom. Just cut. There's nothing else in here. It's hot.
Another important point. Hayden has a hood ornament.
So Matthew had this great idea to.
This was your idea.
Shut up, dude! Come on, man. Can't you just play along? Anyways.
Yeah, it was totally my idea.
Fine, it was my idea. I admit it. Okay. I had a great idea for me to crawl into my trunk. So we're gonna end it off like that. So here we go. Oh shoot.
You need me to help you?
Nah, I'm good. I just gotta limbo it. Limbo.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, you must be a limbo champ like that, dude.
So, as you can see... Come on, hurry up. There's like not a lot of battery left, man. Come on. So, as you can see...
you remember to take the body out, right?
As you can see, there's a lot of space. I put the seats down because I had my base. There's a couple checker pieces. So, yeah, I'm gonna go in now. Are you gonna get? I thought we were continuing from here before I crawled in.
I don't know. Crawl in. It's rolling.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go in now. So. Oh. Can you help me out?
Yeah, man, hold on. Your camera's not really stable.
So
right
as you can see, a full-sized man can fit in this trunk, and just close it. And so when you
So now we're gonna take him to the pound where he belongs.
Are we done?
Yes.
Can you reopen the trunk, please?
Sure.
Thanks.